Hey folks, we're getting a indication that there will be an executive order possibly as early as tomorrow and probably tomorrow on Thursday. I believe the 6th, but who's counting, that President Trump will try to dismantle the Department of Education. So this has been something that they've talked about for a while. It's been talked about in the media. They've kind of hinted that this is what they want to do. And lo and behold, it seems like tomorrow President Trump will issue an executive order to destroy the Department of Education. Now, I think that that's important to take with a grain of salt as to what does that actually mean. So it means different things for different people. If you are in, primary school or secondary school education, this actually is a lot bigger deal than if you are a student loan borrower. And let me explain why. If you're a student loan borrower, it's in the statute that the Department of Education shall do a bunch of different things. It specifically says Secretary of Education shall, and it says it 35 times, I think, off the top of my head, in PSLF and 34 times in the IDR statutes. So, and I might be flipping those around because, all this stuff is exhausting and I'm tired. But it's a very large amount of mentions of the Secretary of Education in the statute, right? So that means that, the Department of Ed has to service and manage the student loan system in some regard. Now, Republicans want to move that to the Department of the Treasury because of the fact that it's income-driven repayment, and so they think that the Treasury Department would maybe manage the system better because they already have access to IRS data. But they would probably have to go through Congress for that. But, for student loan borrowers, you're going to see a terrifying headline that's going to say Department of Education shuttering. And what it really means is they're transferring anything that's not statutorily required of them to do to other agencies. So for example, one of the examples is the Department of Civil Rights and the Department of Education. They're trying to transfer that to the Justice Department. So it's not so much as, honestly, most of these things are simply getting transferred versus actually shuttered. Although a lot of people are being laid off. Anybody that was a probationary employee, anybody that, they could, potentially put on administrative leave, they are doing that. And, I do want to say that, so far, what we have seen is anything that, is not in the statute that they can get rid of or do, they're trying to do. But things that are in the statute, sometimes they, do it anyway. And what happens is a lower court puts some sort of injunction or pause on what they're doing. So if I was a student loan borrower, we're already dealing with a stop work order on IDR and other forgiveness. On the processing of that, I have a source that says that they think that application will be up in a matter of weeks, not months. So that that's, I guess, a positive thing if you're looking for anything positive in all this, right? And so we just have to wait and see, what is this order going to say? What is going to be in it? And again, I think that this has got a lot bigger implications for anybody who's in, primary school, secondary school education. They're trying to, quote unquote, send it back to the states. When they talk about this order shuttering Department of Ed, they almost always frame it in the context of, children in, in grade school versus talking about it in the terms of managing, one of the world's largest portfolios of assets, which is the student loan portfolio that the Department of Ed manages, right? So just buckle up. Be prepared for a terrifying headline. It's going to be very clickbaity and very scary. And we're going to continue to see more headlines like this. And the reality is, even through all this chaos, most people's strategy has not changed and is not going to change, even though the payments might be higher. So if you're a good case for forgiveness in the pay plan, you're probably still a good case for forgiveness even on the old IBR plan. If you're a good case for forgiveness on the SAVE plan, you're probably still a good case for forgiveness for the IBR plan. Not always. People that have debt-to-income ratios below 2 to 1 might have more decisions to make. But people that have debt-to-income ratios above 2 to 1 are very likely, still going for forgiveness no matter what. And with all this chaos surrounding PSLF and all those sorts of things, the only way to handle things is just to be patient and wait some more. Because if you cannot do anything in life, right, one thing that any good therapist will tell you is if you have no control over a situation and you can't do anything about it, then there's no use worrying about it because you can't do anything about it, right? You only want to worry about the things that you can control. And this is one of those things that you literally cannot control, even if we would all want to, right? So I would just say, let's just see what the executive order says. And if you have any questions about the executive order, or if you have any questions about the stop work order that they issued with Department of Ed, put it in the comments. And thank you for following Student Loan Planner.